Mars Needs Mums, which of course everybody knows about because it was a news story. And the problem with it being a news story is you sort of go in with a preconception. The news story is it was for producer Rob Zemeckis' film, and it's a motion capture film in which the story is that a mother, who's a good mother, is taken off to Mars because Mars has got this thing when all their Martians are being raised by robots, and they need mums to teach the robots how to be good nannies.
So and this was in the news?
No, that's not the bit that was in the news. And the son goes off to... Yeah, I know. It was in the news, but it was in the Sunday Sport, which I think has recently closed. Folded, exactly. So the son then goes off to go and try and save Mum because, Mars needs mums. And it's a great, big, expensive motion capture digitally rendered animation. And in America, it sank like a stone. And there was a lot of news stories saying this is it, it's the end of 3D, it's the end of this, that and the other, it's the point at which audiences have finally, risen up and overthrown, which is the sort of thing which you'd expect me to be going, yeah, fine. But like any of these things, it isn't. I mean, it's not that bad. It's not much good. I have to confess, it's really not much good. There are certain bits of the design that I quite like. I mean, Robert Zemeckis, obviously when you look back at films like, Polar Express and lots of the original motion capture animation technique, which was first, do you remember first seeing Polar Express and people trying to explain to you how it was that mocap was done? You go, what? Tom Hanks plays 7. How does he do that? And they go, oh, yes, it's all the digital stuff. And then Andy Serkis. And, I remember my total failure to understand motion capture and performance capture, as it's now told, when it first started out. Well, at the end of Mars Needs Mums, there's an interesting thing, which is that the credit sequences are basically the behind-the-scenes material that you would usually get on a DVD. So all the way through the credit sequences, we must go on for about sort of 7 to 10 minutes. There's all the footage of the actors wearing the dotty suits, the suits with all the dots all over them, all in the green, running around doing the stuff whilst being filmed by the motion capture cameras. So not only does the movie itself tank at the box office, and I suspect isn't going to do much better here, because in the end it's a very expensive but not particularly enthralling animation. But all the DVD extras, which are the thing that would sell the DVD, are at the end of the film anyway, and in many ways were the most interesting thing, because you look at them and go, oh, that's interesting, that's him, and then he's on the slide there, and now he's doing the rolling over. Then of course they end up doing the thing which you have to do at the end of movies now, is that everybody involved in the film has to come on and do a song and dance number, which is getting a little bit tiring. But the DVD extras at the end of the film were the most substantially interesting bit. But as the harbinger of the end of something, it isn't. I mean, it's interesting that it failed so badly in America. It's interesting that it got such a hostile reaction, not from the press necessarily, but from the audiences. I don't think it's going to tank. Well, I don't know that it's not going to tank as badly here, but it isn't very good. Large sections of it is quite dark. I mean, again, that's that is a Foot Lambert's issue, which I think still has to be resolved. But it's not the worst film of the year by quite some margin. It's just not much good.
I think we should finish each show with a song.
Always look...
No. I just, maybe...
Weren't you responsible for getting that into the charts?
Yeah, but I'm not suggesting that we sing that. I just think, okay. Maybe it's a little... The way Mike Yarwood used to finish. But this is me, and we could do a little thing, and Justine
I like it. Yeah, I'd happily join in.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And get all the production team involved, because usually, and people who are watching the live stream, they'll look through the grass, and they'll look through the glass as well, thinking...
They'll look through the grass.
It looks as though they're not doing very much through there. Maybe they could get involved with a song and dance number.
Look, if you're in for... I've got my Theremin here. Shall I go and get it?
Well, I don't know, because the thing is, because there's another big horse race coming up.
Tweet if you'd like to hear Mark's Theremin in the last 5 minutes.
It would be instead of a review or an entertaining email.
No, I can do it at the same time.
You know
what I should have done? I should have used it when I was reviewing Mars Needs Mums. I'll tell you what, I'll recap the Mars Needs Mums review with a bit of Theremin.
Stephen, on this email, normally I would listen to the show on the podcast, but due to overstaffing, I've managed to escape work early and have arrived home. Imagine my joy, therefore. But when I switch on, and the good doctor is promising to play the Theremin whilst recapping his review of Mars Needs Moms, I wonder what eerie science fiction sound will be created by his extraordinary flappy hands. And I wonder if this is therefore the perfect instrument for one who is, rather bizarrely large-handed.
The Theremin was invented by Mr. Theremin, right? And it was invented on the basis that since it has no notes, anyone could play it. Turns out that because it has no notes...
Germany calling.
Almost
Germany
no one
calling.
can play it.
That sounds like radio interference. A real treat for the live streaming. So it's just a wooden box with an aerial and flappy hands. Right, do a bit of Mars Needs Moms then.
Okay, Mars Needs Moms, this science fiction film. When they go to Mars, there are Martians there.
Actually, there's actually just a young woman under the table making this noise. Be a lot cheaper, wouldn't it?
Okay, listen, I'm going to do more of this on the blog, incidentally. www.bbc.co.uk/Mark Kermode. Theremin-tastic.
Okay. Movie of the week. Movie of the week.
Armadillo.
Armadillo, okay.
Yeah.
And for everyone else?
Armadillo.
All right.
And now...
I should say the Werner Herzog Simpsons episode is on tonight, actually. If you want to see that, that's on Sky One. We're off for a couple of weeks due to the fact that no one can stand this any longer, and we have some compulsory family time. Thank you so much for your contribution. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. It's Drive next. Thank you. Asma and Peter, take it away.